Welcome to the Vantage HR Influencers Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Vantage Circle, the simple and AI-powered rewards and recognition platform for employee engagement.
The journey of every HR influencer requires dedication, strategic thinking, and a deep understanding of the industry. Today, we have a truly inspiring story to share with you. It is about an HR influencer who has made a significant impact in the field of HR. Join us as we delve into her story, the valuable lessons that she has learned, and the insightful perspectives that she has gained along the way to success. Hello listeners, this is Vantage Influencers Podcast. I'm your host Sushmita. Please join me to welcome my guest today, Shikha Gupta, the Senior Director, Talent Acquisition at Birlasoft. Welcome to the show, Shikha.
Thank you, Sushmita. Thank you for having me here.
We are thrilled to have you here today to share your story and discuss the valuable lessons and insights that you have gained throughout your journey. Your expertise in the field of HR is so renowned, and we are excited to delve deeper into your experiences and perspectives today. So welcome once again.
Thank you. Thank you for all those kind words. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So moving forward, first of all, Shikha, we want to know about that specific moment that sparked your interest in HR. Like, what inspired you to pursue a career in HR, and how has that moment influenced your approach to your work as an HR influencer?
Wow, you're taking me down the memory lane. This was during my graduation, a little bit during my 12th standard, higher Cambridge. HR, I did know, is all about people, human interaction, a little bit of policies, procedures. Yeah, it's a people function. So during my graduation, I started reading a little about HR, and that sparked my interest even further. Got to know about different fields of HR. You have L&D, you have Comp and Ben, you have OD, employee relations, and there is so much, right? And it's all about looking after people or taking care of people, right? Right from the entry point in an organization to the exit point. So I kept on reading, and that interest went on and on, read some articles, read some HR magazines, and I was pursuing graduation pure play, which is absolutely no specialization. And that's when I decided, I said, I enjoy reading it. How would it be if I start working in this field someday down the line?
Right.
And parents have been great career guides for me, and they said, you are good with people, you're good with your interaction, stuff like that. You are a people's person, so either you should do marketing or you should do HR. Numbers are 2 + 2 is 5 for me, so maybe numbers is not my field. And that's how that thought process became even more stronger, and I continued reading about HR. After I finished my graduation, I went on to do my master's in HR, and that's how I started my career. But yes, This is my graduation love, which is now my profession, and that's my tagline, Sushmita: HR by passion, HR by profession.
So definitely, Shikha, we are curious to know more about your journey and that's specific steps that you took to establish yourself to become what you are today in the HR industry. Like, can you walk us through the process of how you became a top HR influencer? What were some of the key steps, the decisions, the processes that you took up to that helped you to get where you are today?
There is nothing scientific about it, Sushmita. I mean, when I started my career, like a lot of other HR folks, right? You pure play start as a recruiter. You start with recruiting. Yeah, that's the first thing I think most of the HR folks in my fraternity, in my network, have also done. So you start recruiting, you learn how to hire, and then you start doing a little bit of onboarding. So earlier these functions, when I started 20 years back, Sushmita, these functions were not so bifurcated as much as they are today, right? They're individual departments, units, establishments on its own. Yeah. I started as a recruiter, then I learned how to do joining formalities, onboarding and stuff like that. So what happened during my journey, one thing I was very clear about, that I am going to experiment with every aspect of HR. So I have done L&D, I have done OD, employee relations, business partnering, comp and ben, recruiting to a large extent, campus recruiting, lateral recruiting, leadership hiring. I've explored all areas of HR, right? So when you work so deeply, so thoroughly, you start to gain subject matter expertise, right?
True.
When you get subject matter expertise, you have deeper knowledge, you understand the subject, you get command over it, right? You follow the industry's trends, you start reading about it, you start networking with people to say, okay, hey, look, I have an intervention, or I have a performance management system to be built or to be designed for XYZ organization, or I'm running this performance management system. Can we discuss? Let's talk about the pros and cons. How effective is it for you? How effective is it for me? So you start strengthening your knowledge, you start deepening your subject knowledge. So by trying all these aspects in HR, you tend to go in deeper and deeper and deeper. So today, and then what happens over a period of time, you get command, right? You know what's happening in the industry, you know what's the current trend, you know in which direction are HR leaders making. Say, for example, COVID was a big disruptor. How did we as an HR function, right from doing everything face-to-face, in person, move to the virtual or the online world, right? From recruiting to onboard to exit, right? Everything used to happen in offices, but now everything happens online, or has been happening online for the last 2.5 years. So there is no process, but one thing I had made very clear to myself is I am going to explore every area of HR, work, learn, grow, understand, and then see where my flair is, where I want to dedicate more time. So recruiting is something I really enjoy. Business partnering or employee relations is something I really enjoy. Training is something I really enjoy.
Yeah.
So then you pick up those aspects where you enjoy. And plus, I've been in IT throughout my career, last 20-21 years. Worked with a lot of product companies, also IT services companies. So which gave me a flair of both, how HR functions in a product company environment, and how HR functions in a large IT services environment. So you should be open to learning, open to experimenting, open to doing everything, right? Though, you can't say, I don't want to do this, or I would not like to do this. Try it out. Give it a shot. See how you fare. So when you acquire subject matter expertise, people start respecting you for that. Right? You get command over it. You have the industry knowledge. And then if somebody asks me, Shikha, what's happening in 1, 2, 3 or this particular area, right? I know what's happening, and I'm able to give the right guidance to my students, to young professionals, to my fellow colleagues, to anybody who approaches me, right? And that's how you build that followership or that viewership or that audience, because they know that she knows her subject, she will be able to give the right guidance. She's done it, right? So you're not talking at a superficial level, but you've worked on all these areas in HR, and hence you have the subject matter expertise and the command over it.
Right. Truly said, Shikha. Having a command over the overall HR knowledge is critical for, in fact, any HR professional to be effective in their roles and to contribute to the success of the organization. So in that case, as you mentioned, continuous learning, experiments and developments are the key to maintaining and enhancing their knowledge over time, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, there is nothing you should say no to. There are areas which I had never, and I had started as a kid. Nami, I was just 23 when I landed up with my first job. Just finished my MBA and got placed and started with my first job. And my first job, it was abroad. It was not in India. It was in Mauritius. And since I knew the French language, I grew up in Mauritius. I did both. So I started as an HR executive who was hiring for the NIIT Center. NIIT is a learning and development giant, right? And who was also selling these NIIT education courses in the French language. So I was hiring. I was also doing onboarding of the new joiners. Plus, I was also marketing or selling these courses to students, NIIT. and IIT. There were various courses at that point in time. And this kid who was just 23 was like working 12, 16, 18 hours a day. And it was fun, right? Your first few years of anybody's career, no matter whether you're in HR or marketing or any other domain, are the first few formative years, right? Where you are open to everything. You have enthusiasm, you have passion, you want to learn, you want to grow. So I was doing every bit of it. So my first job actually taught me a lot of HR stuff, right? And plus, I love to read a lot. So whatever is happening, even during those days, 20 years back, with whatever HR material was available online, very, very less compared to what you have today. We have multiple sites, platforms, websites, forums that you can be a part of. That was not the case 22 years back. Whatever material was available, HBR reviews, right? I would read and see how HR functions, right? How HR people behave, what are the different roles that they do. So yeah, learning, experimenting, and understanding the subject, and gradually over a number of years, a period of time, gaining a command over the HR subject is very important. And that's how, gain respect. You don't intend to become an influencer, or you don't intend to become a leader. You gradually become one. If you're serious and passionate about what you're doing, that's how I would put it.
Shikha, I really appreciate your eagerness to learning. You mentioned earlier also that you got excited about this whole field of HR by reading about it. And here you are today, an influencer in the field with so many followers on LinkedIn, approximately 58K now. So for many of us who strive to gain followers on LinkedIn through organic means, this is like a dream come true. But at the same time, I'm sure that being an HR influencer involves more than just having a large social media following, isn't it? Because you people have some key responsibilities, some key roles to play in shaping the industry. Would you like to say more about that to us?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm so glad you asked this. See, again, HR or any other field, when people follow you, when people read what you write, when people follow or read or comment or approach you individually via phone calls or emails or DMs or whatsoever it is, they do it for a reason. They see you as a subject matter expert. They see you as a person who is going to give them the right guidance, right? So I think the biggest responsibility any leader has, any thought leader or any HR leader has, is being true to what he or she is doing, right? Knowing what the industry trends are, being updated with the current knowledge on whatever subject or whatever area of HR they are pursuing, right? That's very important. I mean, if you're outdated, if you're not well read, if you're not well practiced, if you don't know what's happening, right, you will not be able to provide that value to your audience. Your audience can be on LinkedIn, or your audience can be a phone audience or a WhatsApp group, right? When people see value, that's how they follow you, or that's how they approach you, or that's how they depend on you for guidance, for advice, or for anything for that matter. So in my mind, 2-3 things. The biggest responsibilities, one is being true to what you're doing, your field, your work. Second is being updated about the current industry trends. Third is being able to adapt and adopt to different situations, right? Like I said, HR has walked a long journey like all other functions, pre-COVID, during COVID, and now post-COVID. Now getting people back to work is a problem, because everybody's got used to, working from home. So how do you, looking at the business growth, right? Or looking at the market conditions, how do you fine tune your policies? How do you fine tune your processes? How do you walk hand in hand with the business? Right? When I say the business, it is the revenue generators. It could be different functions, right? Sales, pre-sales, delivery, product management, etc., etc. So how HR leaders or HR as a function can adopt and adapt to various changes, to adopt to the way the organization is moving in a particular direction, right? Everything has to be aligned to that. It's one organization, one goal, one mission, one team. right? No matter whether the organization is 5,000 in size or 500 million in size, it doesn't matter. So that's another very important point of an HR person. How agile, how flexible, how adaptable the person is, because any HR leader is running a function, right? So if he understands the business and if he has these qualities, that's how he can drive the team to deliver results which are in favor of the organization. Yeah.
Right. Shikha, we won't want to miss this chance to ask you about your experiences with networking. I think it's a very important part in the HR industry to build, maintain a professional network, right? So what are some of the most effective strategies that you have used to expand your network, and how do you stay in touch with industry colleagues and peers?
Yeah, in a way, I mean, you wouldn't believe it. I did have a LinkedIn account which I created many years back. But frankly speaking, what really brought me to LinkedIn was COVID, right? When we were all siloed, we were we were imprisoned in our own homes. You couldn't COVID, right? You couldn't move out, you couldn't travel, you couldn't go to any seminars, conferences. That's how I hooked onto LinkedIn and said, okay, Shikha, let's start reading what's happening on LinkedIn as well, apart from whatever reading I do. And that's how I started writing a little. I wasn't writing till about 2 years back. I started writing a little. People started liking what I was sharing, whether it was HR or it was inspiration. So I said, okay, let's write, because I love writing. So when you started writing, people started liking your content. That's how people started approaching me, saying that, can I become a connection? Can we connect? Can we talk? I need some help. I need some guidance. So I think LinkedIn that way has been a great platform in terms of getting me the right people in my network. And that happened through the kind of content sharing that I did. There was absolutely no strategy. I just kept writing. You would have heard, Sushmita, people say consistency is the key, right? When I started writing, I had about, I think, 2,000 followers. This was about 2.5 years back, 3 years back, right? And about 2 years back, I started writing content on LinkedIn, and mostly it was HR, and then I mixed it with a little bit of inspiration, motivation, because I saw people going through a lot of trauma during COVID, right? So, I mean, nothing makes me happier than making somebody else smile, right? So that's how I started building audience, and people started approaching me, and I did get a few assignments as well through LinkedIn, saying that, can you design, something for us in the space of HR? We're looking at an agile recruitment model and stuff like that, because maybe I would have posted a lot about it. So when you have that subject command, the right people will approach you. They would want to be a part of your network. They would want to be connected. The way to be connected is, yes, you cannot share your phone number with everyone, but the DMs are a great way. With some people, you choose to share your phone number. So WhatsApp is a great way to communicate. Plus, these online webinars and forums are a good way to connect with industry colleagues. And I keep meeting some of them in various roundtables, and it's good to see them every time, as in when I participate.
Yeah. So have there been any particular challenge or obstacles or any difficulty that you have faced in your in your journey as an influencer till date?
I mean, I wouldn't put it as difficulties. It's a journey, right? I choose to be HR, and I want to be HR, and I probably will die also as an HR person. That's where I belong. Yes, like I said, the industry keeps going through changes, right? Sometimes recruiting has been very tough because it was a candidates market. Sometimes, doing a compensation review in an organization has been very tough, right? Because the budgets are limited. As an influencer, not really, because LinkedIn is my platform. It is my account. I choose to write whatever I want. Good, bad, ugly, it's my voice, right? It's something that resonates with me, something that I believe in is what I share. And from 2,000 to 58,000, I think the journey has been great. People are liking what I'm writing, and I will continue to write maybe for some more time. But no challenges. Yes, there have been cases where people have said, through DM saying that, Shikha, your world is perfect and a perfect world doesn't exist. Or the process that you've highlighted is a perfect HR process and that doesn't exist. I said, my world is perfect and that's the way I see it. That's my opinion. I strive to be there, right? All of us strive to be there. So why not talk about it? Only when you start thinking or talking about something do you achieve it, right? It has to be there in the mind. It all starts with the mind. If I want a perfect recruitment model, right, or if I want a perfect employee engagement activity, I have drawn down the steps that I want to follow to achieve what I want. But if it doesn't happen in the real world, or if it's not happening, at least I'm thinking in that direction. So there are people who say, this is too perfect, this is too good to be true.
Too good to be true. Yeah, yes. Right.
Yeah. That's the way it is, and that's the way I want it to be, and that's the way I'm striving to get there. Right? Some people are, some people are not, because everybody's definition of perfection is different.
Yeah, all different perspectives. Yeah.
Right.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Moving forward, Shikha, when we talk about the new technologies and the changing workforce demographics, the future of HR is likely to look very different than it does today, isn't it? So as an HR influencer, we are curious to know your thoughts on what the future holds for the industry and how HR professionals can stay ahead of the curve.
That's such a brilliant question, Sushmita. I'm so glad you asked. The biggest fear that all of us have, Sushmita, is that either ChatGPT or AI will replace our jobs. Yeah. We'll all be out of the job market, sitting at home, twiddling thumbs and all that.
These days, no matter whatever conversation I'm having in this HR podcast, ChatGPT always comes in. That's interesting.
And my take and my message to anyone who's in HR would be to say, AI or ChatGPT or any sort of digitalization, right, can probably replace my job, but cannot replace me. You cannot replace humans. You cannot replace emotions, right? Say, for example, tomorrow there is an employee grievance, right? Somebody wants to talk to an HR person, voice out his problem, look for a solution. No tool or technology can do that. You need a human-to-human interaction, a human-to-human talk, right? And that is why human resources, that's what we are called. We are a people function. So no digitalization, no amount of AI or ChatGPT can replace our jobs, right? Probably the way forward would be, like I said in the past as well, a little while back, is the way forward is to keep reading, to keep upgrading, to see what the new practices are, to probably also look at how can we do things differently. When I say differently, not reinvent the wheel, probably with more speed, with more agility, because now technology is evolving, right? AI wasn't even there 15 years back, not maybe in some shape or form, right?
Yeah.
How can these tools be an enabler for HR rather than a disruptor? Right?
Yeah. True.
How can they enable us to do our work faster, better, in an efficient manner? How do you use the tools to your advantage rather than, thinking of it as a disadvantage or a disruptor, or saying, I might lose my job.
Uprooting humankind from the workplace.
You cannot replace humans. You will always need people to deal with people, because emotions is something that a human has. Yeah, a robot cannot have emotions. A laptop cannot have emotions. Yes, they can help you do your work faster. Probably that agility, that speed, that accuracy can be very different, or can be miles ahead of what we do today. But a human-to-human interaction is through humans. So my message to anybody would be: keep reading, keep learning, keep yourself updated and upgraded, both. Right? What are the new practices? What are the new industries trends? That's very important. Even HR is evolving. We are no more the same what we were 5 years back. Not even 5 years back. Say 2020. Before COVID, HR used to run in a very different fashion compared to what it is running today. So all of us are evolving with time.
Yeah. it's also difficult to imagine about what exactly the future holds, right?
Future is unpredictable, yeah. Sushmita, I don't know what's going to happen
Very unpredictable.
tomorrow. Yeah. So, and I am the glass half full kind of a person, optimistic. I always look at brighter side of things. Even if tomorrow something untoward happens, right? I mean, so many people lost their jobs, Sushmita, to be so honest, right?
Yes.
What happened? You have so many startups, you have so many freelancers, you have so many CEOs, founders, so many people who are doing different things in life compared to their 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 job.
True.
So there is an opportunity in every difficulty. Life is not a straight line. A straight line means we're all dead, right? So even in the HR field, there are so many opportunities. You have your corporate job, you have your freelancing, you have so many coaches, right? You have consultants. And there are multiple different kinds of professions within HR, types of professions, right? So AI is not going to replace us. Tomorrow, if God forbid, if that's the fear an HR person has, that I may not have my job, my friend, there are too many opportunities in HR. All these websites, freelance.com, upwork.com and .com have enough and more opportunities for all of us to explore. We just have to put our minds to it.
Yeah.
There's opportunity in every difficulty. That's what I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Shikha. And that was a very lovely conversation with you. I can't thank you enough for being a guest on our podcast and for sharing your journey to becoming a top HR influencer. So your insights and experiences were truly eye-opening, and I'm sure that our listeners will talk about this episode for a long time, and many might express their interest in connecting with you further. So kindly, would you like to tell us how our listeners can reach out to you?
Sure. First of all, thank you, Sushmita, for having me on Vantage Circle. I mean, you guys are amazing. Keep doing the amazing work, and my best wishes to you and your entire team. My listeners can reach out to me through LinkedIn, and that's a great platform. Send me a DM, send me a connection request. Tell me how I can help you. Tell me how I can help you in your career, in your journey. I'll be more than happy to do that.
Yeah, I also want to thank you for being such a wonderful guest today. Your enthusiasm and energy, made the conversation so engaging from the beginning, and it was a pleasure to chat with you. So again, thank you for being a part of our podcast, and we can't wait to see where your journey takes you next, and we hope to have you back as a guest in the future.
Thank you so much, Sushmita. I look forward to being there again.
Thank you.
And my best wishes to the entire team at Vantage Circle.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Vantage HR Influencers Podcast. Please do subscribe to Vantage HR Influencers Podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and our YouTube channel for new episodes.